That was the sound of the Jovian bow shock. Jupiter's powerful magnetic field plows through supersonic solar wind like the bow of a ship, creating a shockwave of plasma as the solar wind halts. We've entered the magnetic field. From here, you should be able to see the Galilean moons, in order of size: Ganymede, Callisto, Io, and Europa. These were the first moons of any other planet to be observed, and are each interesting in their own right. Europa is a cold ice world, though tidal forces from Jupiter may churn up its insides, creating enough heat for a liquid ocean to exist beneath the ice, an ideal spot for life to exist. Callisto is dark and icy and covered in many craters. And Ganymede is the largest moon in the solar system, even larger than planet Mercury. Io is the innermost of the Galilean moons and is a terrifying volcanic world covered in volcanoes, resulting from the strong tidal churning from the giant planet it orbits so closely. Named after the king of the Roman gods, and rightly so, Jupiter is the largest and possibly most influential planet in the solar system. The fifth planet from the Sun with a mass of 300 Earths. It is so large that every other planet could fit inside it with room to spare. Well, were it hollow, of course. Jupiter is a gas giant. It has no surface, only an atmosphere of hydrogen that increases in density the lower you go. Powerful winds create terrifyingly strong vortices, such as the Great Red Spot, a storm that at one point was 3 times the size of the entire Earth, raging but slowly shrinking for over 300 years. The chaotic clouds form distinct bands, and due to high internal pressures compressing carbon, it may actually rain diamonds! In the centre is believed to be an Earth-sized rocky core, however we may never know for certain. Before we leave, Jupiter has one last secret to be seen. Turning back, passing through the mighty planet's shadow, faint rings can be seen. You're probably thinking about another world when it comes to rings though. Saturn, with its majestic ring system, is possibly the most beautiful planet in our solar system. The second largest planet is a lot less dense than the other giants, so much so that if you had a swimming pool large enough, it would float. Or at least that's what everyone says. Might test it for myself if I can get my hands on a world engine. Anywho, the 7 rings of Saturn are composed of rock and ice, some chunks as large as houses. Perhaps the remains of a moon that's strayed too close. There's a gap bigger than the one between my teeth in this one, and if you look closely, you can see Pan, one of the shepherd moons. That big mound around its equator is just big ring bits it picked up. Looks like a mini Saturn, eh? And over there is Saturn's largest moon, Titan. Hidden beneath a thick atmosphere of nitrogen, the surface temperatures are so cold that lakes and rivers of liquid methane flow across this barren world. Titan is the only known moon to have a substantial atmosphere, and it could potentially be a home to exotic life if the conditions are just right. Hey, speaking of moons, that's no moon. Oh wait, it's just Mimas. Yes, one of Saturn's moons looks just like the Death Star. If the impactor that created that huge crater was any bigger, it would have completely shattered Mimas and possibly formed a new ring around Saturn. Though now some of my colleagues want to turn it into a planet death ray, so it might be a good idea to move on now. Here things are starting to get a little chilly. We're almost 3 billion kilometers from the Sun, or 20 times the distance from the Earth is from the Sun. Just ahead of us is Uranus, the first and slightly larger of the 2 ice giants. Uranus is so big 60 Earths could fit inside of it. Something quite odd, however, is its angle of rotation. If you can tell by the rings, the whole planet is on its side. It's believed that another planetoid rammed into Uranus millions of years ago, knocking it off its axis and giving it its abnormal tilt. Orbiting Uranus in the same plane as its rings and rotation, around it is a moon covered in scars and ridges. Some believe the entire moon was once destroyed in a collision, only for the fragments to recoalesce into a spheroid once again, resulting in the scars you see today. As we move onwards towards Neptune, we reach the beginning of the edge of the solar system. The 8th furthest planet from the Sun, Neptune, is also an ice giant. Don't be confused, they're still gas giants made of hydrogen gas, just a lot colder. Neptune has the strongest winds in the entire solar system, reaching speeds of up to 1,200 miles per hour. Nearby, there is the moon Triton, the coldest of the cold. Triton is the coldest moon in the solar system, with average temperatures of minus 235 degrees Celsius, allowing it to be covered in nitrogen ice, and strangely orbits in the opposite direction to the rest of Neptune's moons and rings, suggesting it wasn't formed with Neptune, but originated in the further parts of the solar system before being captured by Neptune's gravity. More isolated planetoids like Triton we shall soon see. Beyond Neptune, we enter the Kuiper Belt. Here lies countless short-period comets waiting to re-enter the inner solar system at the aphelions of their 100-year elongated orbits, and many more icy planetoids. One you've undoubtedly heard of is the dwarf planet Pluto. Not much was known about it until it was visited by the New Horizons spacecraft in 2015, which revealed its heart of ice for the first time, showed its moon Charon in detail, and even discovered something truly remarkable. Even this far from the Sun, Pluto has an atmosphere. Pluto was once considered the 9th planet, but when the discovery of several more small worlds like it in the Kuiper Belt caused scientists to question the very definition of a planet, it was decided that a planet was an object massive enough to clear its orbit of any other space rocks, something that little planet Pluto could not. Thus, Pluto and many other frozen worlds were reclassified as dwarf planets. Don't let the name discourage you though, as these worlds hide their own secrets, perhaps even pointing to something much more mysterious lurking in the outer reaches of our solar system. Much further in the outer reaches of the Kuiper Belt lies a dark, reddish planetoid called Sedna. What seemed like an ordinary dwarf planet discovery turned into a stark realization that many other KBOs had similar, elongated, highly eccentric orbits. They don't just form like that. So what influenced them to be like this? These anomalous orbits are the strongest pieces of evidence for the existence of a massive object, some 6 times the mass of the Earth, silently orbiting the Sun beyond the Kuiper Belt. Could it be a 9th planet? A faint red dwarf star indistinguishable from the background points of light? Perhaps even a primordial black hole that formed an instant after the Big Bang? The question remains unanswered for now, though one day intelligent minds will solve this conundrum. Could it be you? Any whamster! Onwards! We are nearing the edge of the solar system. Plasma instruments detect that the solar wind is now subsonic. We have reached the termination shock. Soon we will exit the region of the Sun's influence known as the heliosphere, where the solar wind propels plasma outwards, and the Sun's strong magnetic field blocks interstellar cosmic plasma. And here we are! The direction of plasma movement has changed. We have passed through the heliopause and are now technically in interstellar space. Some will say we have passed beyond the edge of the solar system, although the force of gravity still plays its part on objects even this far out. At 2,000 times the distance of the Earth to the Sun, we have reached the Oort cloud, a swarm of freezing long-period comet nuclei surround the Sun, taking millions of years to complete a single orbit. If another star were to pass through here, it would dislodge millions of space rocks and send them hurtling into the inner solar system, as is believed to have been the case during the late heavy bombardment some 4 billion years ago. And this truly is the edge of the solar system. Beyond the Oort cloud, the Sun's gravity is insignificant. Nothing is gravitationally bound to it anymore. And anything past the heliopause is part of the interstellar medium. We are now in true interstellar space, orbiting the supermassive black hole in the center of the galaxy. Just take a moment and appreciate the emptiness. Less than 1 speck of dust per million cubic meters of space. No stars for light years. No sunlight to illuminate anything flying through this cold void. Bored yet? Me too. Let's head back. Alright, thanks for watching guys, this has been a great video to make, something a bit different from usual, and I really do hope you've enjoyed it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, remember to subscribe, and if you want to see more like this, let me know in the comments down below. So, as always, I'll see you all later. Endor out.